pays for long-term care? What families need to know? One of the biggest surprises families face after a hospital stay or nursing home admission isn't just finding the right care. It's figuring out how to pay for it. Many families assume Medicare covers long-term care. Others think Medicaid pays for everything. The truth is, long-term care is often paid for through a combination of different sources. Today, let's break down who pays for long-term care and what families should expect. The big question. One of the biggest misconceptions about long-term care is that there's a single payment source. There isn't. Depending on your family's situation, care may be paid for through Medicare, private pay, long-term care insurance, Medicaid. The important thing to understand is that these payment sources don't usually happen all at once. They often become part of the journey at different times. Let's start with Medicare. Medicare. This is where many families become confused. Medicare may pay for hospital care, doctor visits, certain rehabilitation services, short-term skilled nursing care after a qualifying hospital stay. But Medicare was never designed to pay for ongoing custodial long-term care. That's why families are often surprised when Medicare coverage ends, but their loved one still needs assistance. When that happens, another payment source usually enters the conversation. Private pay. Many families begin paying privately. That may include savings, retirement income, investment accounts, monthly income, help from family members. For some families, private pay is only temporary. For others, it may continue much longer. The challenge is that long-term care can become very expensive. That's why families often begin looking at other options before their financial resources become exhausted. Long-term care insurance. Some people have long-term care insurance. If they do, the policy may help pay for some of the cost of care. But every policy is different. Benefits vary, waiting periods vary, coverage limits vary. That's why if you have a policy, it's important to review it carefully instead of assuming what's covered. Medicaid. Eventually, many families begin discussing Medicaid, not because they plan to, but because the cost of long-term care simply becomes unsustainable. Unlike Medicare, long-term care Medicaid was specifically designed to help eligible individuals pay for ongoing nursing home care. Eligibility depends on factors like income, assets, medical need, state-specific rules, which is why planning ahead can make such a difference. The payment journey. One thing families often don't realize is that payment sources frequently change over time. A typical journey might look something like this: hospital care, then rehabilitation covered by Medicare, then a period of private pay, and eventually, if someone qualifies, Medicaid. Not every family follows that exact path. But understanding that long-term care is a process, not a single event, helps reduce a lot of unnecessary stress. The LTCFAQ perspective. Instead of asking, "Who pays for long-term care?" try asking, "Who pays right now?" Because the answer may change as your loved one's needs change. The goal isn't to memorize every payment rule. It's to understand where your family is today and what the next step may look like. Families who understand the process are usually better prepared when those conversations begin. If you're trying to understand how long-term care may be paid for in your family's situation, start with the LTCFAQ long-term care planning checklist linked below. It will help you organize your information and prepare for the decisions ahead. And if this video was helpful, be sure to watch our video, Too Rich for Medicaid? It explains how Medicaid income and asset limits work and why qualifying isn't always as straightforward as families expect. And don't forget to subscribe for practical long-term care guidance designed for real families navigating difficult decisions.